Hello, we are going to start the webinar. We have been having some trouble with the audio connection, so we think we are ready now to start it. Can anyone hear me? I think you can use your microphone. You are now unmute, so you are able to talk.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so
I can hear you.
Start. Hello, I'm Manuel Lucio.
Hello, I'm Violeta Sanchez.
And we are part of the Codice software team, and we are going to show you the newest shelve operation in Plastic 4.1. This presentation will take between 20 and 30 minutes. If you have any question during the talk, we will be very happy to answer them, and you can interrupt me in any moment. Violeta will show you how was the ancient shelve operation in the 3.0 release.
Okay, firstly, I will explain how shelve was working in 3.0. Imagine you do some work on a branch, and then you need to switch over to a different branch before you actually do a commit. You could go ahead and commit your changes in the branch, and most of the time that's going to be what you are going to do. But occasionally you can be in the middle of preparing a commit or some commits, especially as you get deeper into being very careful about the types of commits that you make. Each commit can take a long time to be put together. Here is then the point of the shelve feature. When you want to save the state, your changes without making the commit, so you can come back to it later and continue working in the state you were. Shelve takes your changes and put them in a temporary location while you work in a different branch. So you can make changes to one branch while you are in the middle of making changes to a different branch.
Okay, now we are going to go ahead with a practical case. Let's simulate that I do some work in a branch, but actually I want the changes in a different branch. This is a really common mistake. Before the shelve feature, we had to delete the change set, create and run a substitutive merge, and finally paste the work in a different branch. It was too much complicated and also dirty. So let's create it. Imagine that we are going to, for example, remove all this content that must not be in a version control system, okay? I delete them. But then I realized that I'm working on the main branch, okay? So I reject these changes and I can shelve them in a new shelve operation, okay? If I go to the pending changes view, I can use the new shelve pending changes option and store these changes in a new shelve. Moreover, I can undo these changes. Sorry? Okay, I will continue.
Thanks.
Are you asking anything? Okay, let's continue.
I will continue. I heard a voice. I think it was a question. Okay, I will continue. I can also undo the changes after shelving. Okay, this is a confirmation message that my changes are correctly saved. And I recover all the items. And I can now use the shelve item in a different branch. So I create a new branch. And now I can finally apply the shelve operation. I can even view first what I'm going to apply. all these items, and after apply them. A new merge operation is run. I can process all the merge. And I have my changes back. Later I can commit these changes. And commit them. As you can see, I have all the changes in the branch and not in the main branch. So I was successfully moved these changes from the main branch to a task branch without removing or running a subtractive merge or strange things as we did before in 4.0. Now we are going to do the same operation but using this time the command line.
Let's go ahead and work through this scenario, but first I will jump over to the command line. So I will show also the shelve command. Okay? Let's begin by making some modifications. For example, in the 4.1 file. I will check out the file because the shelve just work with items that are under source control or are checked out. Now we could go ahead and commit a change, but imagine you are not sure about the fix you have already done, or you want to share the change between other developers to share opinions. So you can get a code review without checking it. Or you just have found a non-relative bug with the task you are doing right now. So you can fix it as we did before. We modify the file and save it, and later check in its own branch. Let's see how to do that. Like any other command, the shelve command has help. You just have to write the option -help, and let's use it writing a comment to save the change. Just write the command as you see in the screen. The shelve operation is always applied recursively from the given path. If paths are not specified, the shelve will involve all the pending changes in the workspace. So imagine that the change you have already done, it was a fix to some new bug you just found. So let's create now the branch and switch to it to apply the new fix. I will create a new branch, and later I will switch to it. Usually, it's the best way to create a branch using as a base of the branch a label, because it's a stable point. Now I'm working on the. Sorry, I will continue. Now I'm working in the new created branch. I will apply the change. For that, I will use the option -apply, specifying the shelve spec. I will just save. If you don't remember the spec, you can use the find command. So you will see all the shelves you have already done. The last one, it was the shelve number 4. So using the -apply option, specifying the spec SH4, I will restore the changes in my workspace. So now you are all ready to check in and continue working. Finally, if you want to delete any stored shelf, the option "-delete" will remove the shelf contents on the repository. We will delete one shelf to show you how to do it. So now if you check the shelf, that one was deleted.
To sum up, we can review all the functionalities that can be covered by the shelf operation. For example, move changes to a different branch.
For example, share code between developers. You can get a code review without checking it.
Have my own configuration files in a shelf item and apply them into my personal branches.
If, for example, as I told you before, you found a non-relative bug, you can fix it in the branch you are working and later checking it in the own branch for that fix.
Okay, this brings us to the end of the presentation. Are there any questions? You can talk, or
I've typed a couple of questions.
Okay, okay. Greg, can you are able to talk?
So are you saying that the shelves are global to the entire repository?
Yes, they are global. You can use the find system to recover it.
Okay. In the example that you did,
yeah,
when you applied the shelf, I didn't see how you chose where to apply it to in the GUI.
Oh, it's easy. First, if you are working here and you realize that you don't want the changes, you create here the shelf. You later have to switch to a branch. For example, if I want to apply in this branch all the deleted items, I can switch. Okay.
So the shelf is applied to your workspace then?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And reapply the shelf in this other branch. Okay. I'm going to view to make sure that okay. Here I have all the deleted items. So I want to apply this in my branch. I just click here, apply shelf in my workspace, and that's all.
Okay. If I remove a shelf,
yeah. If you remove it,
that does not affect the contents of my workspace that it was applied to.
No. Let's see. Okay. I'm still having my contents here, okay? This is like a shelf, it's like a pattern. I can apply the pattern in multiple branches and apply by multiple developers, okay? If I delete it, it's only deleted here, not the changes. I apply the changes in multiple branches. For example, I apply it here and later I apply it here. But
great.
It doesn't mind if you remove the shelf item, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Are there any more questions?
You can talk or you can use the chat, or also I see here there's another, oh, it was not actually a question. Okay, yes. Bob is asking when is going to be released the 4.1. The 4.1 release is going to be public this week. We are going to release it this week, so keep tuned with our web page, and we will discover all the features, include them. Keith Richardson is asking, does Plastic support automatic shelving when switching branches with pending checkouts? It's not supported, but you can easily do it using the triggers. as the shelve operation is available in the command line, you can use the command line and the triggers to automatize the shelve operation. So yes, it's supported.
You can easily get the same functionality as 3.0 with the trigger. The word is
I can.
Greg is saying that the word is chanting 4.1. Everyone was.
Okay. I'm looking.
There are no more questions.
Okay. You can use the question system, or you can just talk if you want. Is there more questions?
Next week we will do a new webinar, in this case about
Exclusive checkout.
Exclusive checkout, and every week we will try to do a new webinar with a new feature.
Okay, Bob is asking if does shelving work across multiple servers? No, it's only for local. It would be available using the replication, but it's not ready yet.
Not ready. We are working on it.
Yes, it's the next question of Bob is more or less the same. Yes, can I push a shelve to a remote server? Not in this moment. Maybe in the future we will implement this feature, but for now it's not ready.
Possible.
Okay, don't be shy. You can ask if you want. Okay, can the cells be sent via any other method, email?
No, I don't think so.
Are you, Bob, are you asking, for example, like a patch system?
Yeah, I'll talk instead. Yes, like a patch system, kind of like you can send patches via Git. You can, just send a patch. So if we have multiple studios with people working in remote locations, and if we can't send shelves to the multiple servers, could we send it via a patch, which they can apply, and then they could shelve or whatever on their own local server?
It's not possible right now, but it's really very interesting. So I will speak with all the team regarding this because it's very interesting. There's a way, if you are sending a patch to a plastic server, to a remote server, I can imagine that you can apply the shelve operation into a branch and then replicate that branch into the server. But it's not. I know that it's not the same. I can talk all the team because I found your idea very interesting. Do you have more questions? No?
Well, thanks for listening, and we hope to see you next week in the next webinar.
Remember that you can use our forum to ask your questions. You can ask if you want about this webinar, and no more. Thanks for listening, and I hope you to be in the next webinar.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.